You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us. We got a great show planned for you today, as usual. Thanks for everyone being on, and we're live on CKLU 96.7 FM, and also we're also streaming live at cklu.ca, and you just click on the Radio Player Canada app. You can download it. Take us with you, listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device, and also catch us live on Facebook.com/Sudbury News, YouTube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow the channel and the page. Also, we're found on demand afterwards on those two platforms, along with Twitter, now X, twitter.com/Sudbury News. YouTube, the conversation only continues, though, on Facebook afterwards, so you make sure to comment. We'll do our best to read them for those listening and get them up on the screen for those watching either live or afterwards on demand. You can also catch the show live on Sudbury.news. That's our news aggregator, providing a service to the community of Sudbury for all local news aggregated, meaning it just places it all on one page, Sudbury.news. If you haven't been there in a while, visit it and check it out. We're always upgrading it and making it better. So we got a great show planned for you today. We have a particular guest on that we've had, a co-host that we've had several times on, and Nick Gervais will be joining us this morning momentarily. But first, we're going to hop right into the weather, and we'll have her on with your comments and news headlines. Today, we're going to be talking about, now Nick's only able to stay half the show, so we'll get as much out of Nick as we can before she has to go. And then we have a deep dive today into, what's going on in our country. What type of leaders do we have? It's a regular deep dive we have on the show, but it's the more we unpack the layers like an onion, you eventually keep finding more and more onion underneath each layer. And anyways, so it's a never-ending story that just continues. It's a gift that keeps on giving and giving, and Canadians are starting to wake up to what's going on. So we'll talk a little bit about that, the recent election in Toronto, where a 30-year-long held seat by the Liberals has been taken now by a Conservative, and we'll see if that is going to indeed be a trend, and if it is, why. And I think by the end of the show, you'll know why. So we'll be back with weather, news headlines, your comments, and Nick Gervais right after this. Weather brought to you by Duck Check. Yes, and as I said, weather brought to you by duckcheck.com, and Duck Check, if you give them a call on the phone, you can reach them all kinds of ways here. Let's just get this. Okay, no, we got to get the weather down here. All my screens are in different locations this morning, so got to get used to that. Currently, it is 9 degrees. It's mostly cloudy out there. Today, we can expect a mix of sun and cloud. Wind will be basically gusting to 40 this afternoon. High of 20 degrees. UV index is 6 or high. Tonight, mainly cloudy. Clearing near midnight, a low of 7. Friday, sunny, increasing cloudiness in the afternoon. Wind becoming gusting to 40 kilometers an hour. And your high will be 21. And then the UV index will be 8. That's very high, apparently. Long range, again, chance of showers for, let's see. I thought today was Thursday, so we have to refresh this here. So Friday, increasing cloudiness, 21. 22 on Saturday, and showers. And Sunday, chance of showers, 40%, 18 degrees. Monday, sunny, 24. Also 24 on Tuesday with the clouds rolling in, mix of sun and cloud, and then 40% chance of showers on Wednesday. Look at your satellite here. You can just see a mixed bag. Some clouds over Sudbury, some clearing and clouds everywhere. Who knows? You'll get what you get. That's your weather, brought to you by Duck Check. And if you're concerned about the air that you breathe in your home, make sure to give them a call. They got the equipment necessary. They got the experience, and they're trustworthy. They're local. And you let them know that we sent you, and you'll get $100 off. And they have a huge announcement that they've expanded. They're now operating out of Huntsville as well, a second operation out of Huntsville that's going to cover all of the Muskokas and Parry Sound as well. So if you have friends who are down around that in that area, you can also refer them to the show, or just let them know if you say that Sudbury News referred you, they'll get 100% off. Yeah, can you imagine that? $100 off their next duck cleaning. That's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by duckcheck.com. And we'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and more right after this. I can't believe it. And we have a Nick here joining us. I'm just going to get your mic off. I can't believe I made a goof up like that. If Steve was watching, I'm sure he was cringing when I offered 100% off. If you mentioned that you found us on Sudbury News. Anyways, $100 off. I'm just going to let everyone know.
Today's your lucky day. It's 100% off.
Yeah, 100% off. Yeah, that's something that our government might say to us just to sell us the next thing that they want to implement. Oh, don't worry, we're going to tax you. We're going to tax you, but most people are going to make money off of our tax. Yeah. It's like, did they really think people would fall for that? You know what I mean? How is that even possible? 80% of Canadians will make more when they take their money from taxes. I don't understand that.
Is this a thing?
Yeah, with the carbon tax, that's what the Liberals are saying. Like 80% of them get more back in the carbon rebate than they pay out. It's only the 20%. You know, it's like they're just saying, that, you know, again, it's a lie. And we'll have a video a little bit later talking about there's a lot of those that apparently are said from our current, you know.
Really? Your politicians lie?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, every once in a while something happens. But yeah, recently it seems to be that it's the norm. It's more and more we're seeing lie upon lie. And they bear down, like they just... When they're caught in it, they just kind of dig in their heels even more. They don't say, sorry, you know, we were caught, we'll do this.
I've ever heard them say sorry or say, hey, we made a promise and we did not keep it. We're going to do this. We're going to rectify it. There's no accountability happening.
No, and that's what Canadians are wanting. I think if someone was able to come out and actually be that type of leader, Canadians would just totally, we're ready for that. I think we're done with what we've been having for the last almost 10 years now. And again, it's not just me. I'm not making this stuff up. We will show time and time again evidence of that sentiment from most Canadians, because I know there's a few people in Sudbury who are still like, no, I really like what's going on here. I love the fact that food banks have increased exponentially, you know, and people are going to food. I love the fact that there's encampments everywhere in the city. I love all the opioid use that's going on. It's on the rise. And I love, you know, like the safe injection site idea to just use our tax money to give people free drugs as long as they're clean. I love these ideas of just having an open immigration policy where we increase the population by millions when we don't have enough homes. I love these things. You know, there are people out there like that.
It's true. And when we talk about these things individually, sometimes it could make sense to people, but it would be interesting to create a map and have all of the current things that are happening so people could see the big picture, that it's not just this, it's not just this, add this plus this plus this plus this plus this. This is what's going on, guys. Like, do you see the theme? Do you see what's happening to our country? You know, and it's not just what you're hearing on the news, because on the news, they're pushing left, and it's all censored. It's literally propaganda. We've turned into China. You can't watch the news. You're not really getting real opinions here. They're manufactured opinions.
Yes, exactly.
By their advertisers. And this has been proven over and over and over again, Aaron.
Oh, I know. No, 100%. You're kind of talking about this. Watch
Prime
this for
Minister
a second.
Justin Trudeau has been in power now for 8 years, which means he has had 8 long years to prove to Canadians that everything he touches turns to. If you don't believe me, here are 20 people and things that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has ruined during his time in power. Number 20, the Canadian housing sector. The prices for houses in Canada have gone through the roof, and the rental market shows no sign of slowing down either. It seems impossible to buy a home at a reasonable price, and the idea of buying a starter home, that's fiction. That is something of the past. All this, by the way, while we live on the second largest country on earth. Number 19, Jerry Butts. Jerry Butts was Justin Trudeau's longtime friend and his former principal secretary. Butts would end up having to step down during the SNC-Lavalin corruption scandal and would end up tainting his political career for the rest of his life. Number 18, Jody Wilson-Raybould. Jody Wilson-Raybould was the former Attorney General of Canada and the former Minister of Justice. She would end up being pushed and kicked out of the Liberal Party during the SNC-Lavalin corruption scandal after the Prime Minister twisted her arm to do her bidding.
So stuff like that. So this guy's got a top 20, and that's what you're saying. It would be really good to see one thing after another thing after another thing after another. And I think we're going to see more and more of that because it's low-hanging fruit. It's just there's too much out there of this stuff. So
you can probably do a top 50 because there's so much more information. And it's kind of, there's like this dystopia world that people live where they can just ignore everything that's happening. And just because our government is doing it, they're like, it must be for good. And it's just like, but why not the opposite?
No, I understand. Yeah. And we're going to be, if you get a chance to come back after and watch the replay of the show, we're going to be playing a video towards the end that's saying all the things that you're saying. And I had this video queued up to kind of go along with it. So that's basically our deep dive.
I'll definitely watch it.
I was hoping that you'd be on the show because I thought we'd watch it together. And I said, today we're going to have a special show because we're going to have, you know, Canadians who have a little bit of buyer's remorse that voted for this government. You know, now we're going to see live an individual. We're going to talk to an individual today who might be partially responsible for what we're going through right now. We're going to get their take on their buyer's remorse, if there is some. And I was going to ask you if you knew anyone that might be in that category.
Well, I voted for him the first time around because he was just so handsome and he got me on his charm. And I for some reason, I feel like I'm pretty sure I did vote for him, but I thought I didn't. But then I regretted not voting for him. But I wanted to vote for him, but I didn't. I don't know. I can't really remember. I think I did though, but the first time around. But yeah, I didn't vote the second time around.
And that's the thing too. I remember at work in our office, I was the only, at the time, I was understanding that I was probably conservative as we would talk about politics and things, and I would understand what conservatism is compared to liberalism, or even, you know, our NDP, like, which would be communism, or any of the Greens or whatever, the communist parties, socialist communist parties. And I was identifying with, I think I'm conservative, you know. They were like, yeah, but why would you be like that? Don't you care about poor people?
I didn't know anything really, Aaron. I knew nothing about politics at the time. I knew nothing about like what liberals cared about and what conservatives cared about. All I remember hearing was conservatives don't like to spend money, liberals like to spend money.
That's it.
Really, that's the only thing I really understood. And
which is there's something to that, and it is kind of big, just that in and of itself. But it's true. It can't just be that
and liberal
simplified.
To me at the time was just like they're freer and they're more open, and conservatives I felt like it was more rules. And at the time where my mind space was just like, yeah, let's be all more liberal. But my lifestyle, I've evolved, I've matured, and I realized that that's a really dangerous place to be, because then you're just allowing anything to happen When you're more conservatives, you're living by values and instructions or rules, and then people are staying within that in a safe area. Anyway, so I'm definitely conservative more now, but at the same time, Aaron, it's a right wing, left wing of the same bird. I feel like it's all.
Well, at the end of the day, it's not perfect, right? It's almost
Right.
like capitalism in general, or the free market isn't perfect, and that's what's given communists or Marxists or people that love socialism and things like that, to give them a lot of stuff to look at and say, well, look what communism has done. But Winston Churchill said, yeah, capitalism is the worst thing you've ever heard of until you see the alternatives, right? It's like, in our world of not perfect, because this world is not perfect, this temporal state that we're in, it's made to be not perfect. It's made to have good and bad in it, and we need to choose the good. That's the whole setup of this particular world that we live in.
Yes.
And so you're not going to have a perfect system. So you need to have the best you can at the time. You just, go ahead.
Because you're right. Because how can we have a perfect system with unperfect people? Like,
Right.
how is that even possible?
It's not possible in this world that we're living in now. Maybe possible in a future world, right? And it will be, as far as I'm concerned, but not now. And so there's the theory, I don't know if I've made this up or not, but the theory of good enough. Like sometimes, like a perfectionist. They won't even begin to do something because in their mind they've already sabotaged themselves because they won't be able to do it perfectly. So they don't do it. Whereas someone who really goes out there and gets a lot of things done, they don't do it perfectly, but they're getting lots of things done.
And they're moving.
They're shaking, and people will look at them and they think, oh, that's about as next to perfect as you can be. And even a perfectionist might go, wow, I can't be that good. But that person doesn't feel, they see all the mistakes they make because they know they're not perfect. So it's the theory of good enough.
All the time. I said, some people now today with social media and all that, you want the perfect logo, you want the perfect this, and you want the perfect that. And I said, seriously, just throw that out in the garbage. Just start. And people and your customers will see you evolve, and they'll follow you through the whole movement, and they're going to see the growth of the business. They're going to see the growth of where you're going. And that's actually a really good marketing strategy because you're tugging on people's emotions and now they're feeling connected to you. So it's actually better to not be perfect and showing those flaws in a way and when it comes to business.
Yeah, I've heard it in a romantic setting where usually a female will say to a male, I want to see your vulnerable side. Am I onto something here? You know what I mean? I want to see you in your I want you to just be real. I don't want you to pretend or always be, the person who has all the solutions or what. I just want you to be real. Yeah. And people appreciate that. And
they do.
Yeah. So the whole idea of, people say, well, Polyev, is he going to do any better? Or is he one wing of the same, a different wing of the same bird? Right. And I think all that has validity. It does. But who would you rather be in charge of the imperfect system that we have? Which imperfect leader would you like to run the imperfect system that we have? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like people make that as an excuse. Well, we might as well just keep what's going. But oh my goodness, if you really do compare it, it's like comparing two kinds of, you got two oranges in your hand and you're like, which one should I buy? And one's full of bruises and mold on it and whatever. And yeah, but they're both really oranges. Maybe they both have the same nutritional value at the end of the day or whatever.
But
you're not going to buy that orange.
It's actually an apple, but pretends it's an orange. We don't really know what that fruit is, but it's pretending to be orange. Who knows?
That's probably more on target than what my analogy was, because that's what we have with this government. They're doing one thing while they tell us they're doing another, and they're just not in reality. And again, we'll have a video a little bit later that talks about that.
Definitely watch it.
I just want to give a shout out to a few people that I've been running into people here and there. Like I came out of the office one day and I just said, hey, how you doing? And a young gentleman said, hey, I listen to your show all the time. And I was really taken back. I'm like, what do you mean? You mean you watched the show? Because I thought he saw my face and recognized me. And he goes, no, I just listen on the radio. And yeah, but I just said, hey, how you doing today? And he recognized my voice just from that and said he listened to the show. And he said, I don't listen anymore because I'm working during the time, but I really appreciated your show. And he really was sincere about it and whatever. And I was just like, didn't know what to do about it. I was like, oh, okay, well, thank you very much. He goes, keep doing it. We appreciate what you're doing. And I just thought, you know what? Thank you so much for that. And then just got a call yesterday. Rob from the station said that a message was left. And I wanted to give a shout out to Brian and Doris this morning who are listening. And we had a great conversation, Brian and I, on the phone. And so he just wanted to say the same thing. He had a question about a segment we had in the show, but then we had a good conversation about the content of the show. And he said how much he appreciated it as well, and him and his wife, and how the point of view doesn't really get expressed openly very much. The things that we talk about on the show, they do in coffee shops and, amongst friends and whatever, but they're not really said publicly. And a lot of people feel possibly they can't, or they're bullied into not being able to just say things as they really are out there, right?
It's true. You almost seem like you're the black sheep of the family if you start talking about these things. And it's like, okay, here we go. It's just this big stigma happening, but it's just so good that you're giving people the opportunity to hear a different message and a different point of view. And it's really probably nice to hear, Aaron, because you 100% volunteer to do this, and you've been doing this every day and being so consistent. So it's nice to get a little nice message and a little push here and there, I'm sure, and just reminding you that you are on the right track and you're doing something good. And we need to keep local journalism, even though we talk about big things, we need to have this conversation constantly, because if not, it's going to disappear. And if we don't take advantage of it right now, we're not going to be able to take advantage of it later on.
That's true. Yeah. And again, I think it's for people listening, and we have people that comment on the show regularly. We have regular people. It's almost like they're co-hosts in a way with commenting, and they've become part of the show too. And so I think credit has to be given to just everyone who's on and commenting, because and sending videos, because a lot of the videos I play on the show are ones that were sent to me.
It's a community. You're building a community, and that's what we're not meant to be doing this life alone. We're meant to be in a community setting, and I feel like our government wants us to feel alone and disconnect us from the reality of what's actually happening. And I love that, because I can see right now that your video was shared 11 times. So that means, people want to spread the word, which is great, because this is how word of mouth is the best type of advertisement out there. So speaking and sharing about Sudbury news every day, it helps, and having the conversation going, that's what we got to do as a community.
Yeah, 100%. And, and again, right, things that are going on in town, like the thing, big topics are the arena that's going downtown, and we're pretty split on that as a city. The speed cameras that were put up, and, did you know the results were in from the first month of the speed cameras?
No.
So there was 1,029 tickets from the first month from all of the speed cameras combined. I would have thought it'd been more than that, but there was 1,029 tickets. And the average... Go ahead.
Speed? Well, I'm pretty sure one of the cameras are in a river somewhere.
Yeah, the one in Valcarin. Yeah, it's in a swamp somewhere. At least I saw the picture.
Because I was going like 10 over, and I was like, ah! And then I saw it in the river, and like a picture, and I was like, okay, good.
It doesn't look like they're putting it back for now, because I know they're switching them coming up really shortly. I don't know the exact date. I'm going to find that out for tomorrow's show or Monday's show. I also feel
they're putting up in McCrae Heights, the speed people have gone faster now, knowing that there's a camera going up. And now people are taking advantage. I feel like I'm going around that corner. Everyone's just ripping around that corner. It wasn't like that before. It's like now they're like, oh, okay, the camera's coming. Let's just like rip through it right now, because we're going to have to go slower when it comes down, which doesn't really make sense. No. But I feel like it's just interesting what happens mentally. But I know in front of Confed, I will say people go slower there, which that's cool. Like if they're going to do this.
Well, because you're going to get a ticket. So that's why you go slower.
But the camera is not there right now.
Well, you know what? You know why they're going slower anyways? because they don't know, maybe they put it somewhere where you can't see it, or they're not 100% sure. So that's what my wife said. I said, the camera's gone. She goes, oh, just, you don't know. They could have it somewhere secretly, and that's why people are. Now, when they know there's not and it's been moved, then pay attention to the speeds there, right? But also pay attention to see if there's more accidents or there's fatalities or there's injuries after the cameras. And I could...
Well, we didn't get any of those statistics.
I would say there probably won't be. So really, it's not for our safety. But here it is.
Yeah, like, just be honest about it.
Just be honest.
Just like, hey, guys, we want you to follow the rules. You're not following the rules, we noticed. And this is a way for us to make money. Boom.
That's exactly. I always thought that the first company that comes out and says, you know what, we're in business to make money, and we have something that you want, and you have money, and we got something you want, and for your money, we'll give you this, and you'll be able to use it. And we want to make as much money as we possibly can so we can continue to make these good products that will help your life. And just come right out and say it. Yeah. We're here to make money, and you're here to make your life simpler. It's a match made in heaven. Just call a spade a spade.
Strategy.
Exactly. So the average fines for each location range from $95.70 to $164.16.
Ouch.
While the average ticketed speed ranged from 14 kilometers over to 20 kilometers over. Those speed demons going 20 kilometers over. Can you imagine how dangerous those streets were while they were going 20 kilometers over?
That's going 80 in a 60 zone. Like it. Wow. I know some people are just fanatic about all this stuff, but it's not that fast. And our cars are so good, I could literally stop in 3 seconds.
I know. And the city, they refuse to share what the threshold for the ticket is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it 1 over? Is it 2 over? But the lowest fine example they provided was $40 for a 5 kilometers over posted the speed limit. So they won't say. They just gave that was one example. So are they saying it starts at 5 over? We don't know, right? They won't say.
Wow.
Maybe it's a legal thing if they say it or not, but I'm not sure if you have to go now, Nick. If you do, that's fine.
I do. I have to bring Journey's teacher gift for her last class. I forgot to drop it off yesterday, so I'm going to go bring that to her. And it's last week of school, which is really exciting. But I'll be on tomorrow morning. No, I won't, because it's the last day of school and we're all going together. But I will be here Monday morning.
Well, if we're on, because it's Canada Day Monday, apparently.
So
and that's a holiday.
It's true.
But Tuesday you can come on?
Tuesday I can come on.
Well, look at that. We'll see you next. We'll see you on. I'll see you before that, but I'm sure. Yes. But we'll have you on the show Tuesday. So thanks for being on this morning, Nick. It was great having you. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye.
Ciao. That's Nick Gervais. She comes on the show, as you know, quite regularly, and we're always glad to have her and have her exciting, bubbly personality and great conversation. And with that, we'll just kind of check in with all y'all that are on. Quite a few of you this morning. Nana, thanks for joining us. Smiley emoji, exclamation point. And Judy, first to the Facebook party, as usual. And good morning to you, along with Denise from Espanola. Blessings from Espanola. Marianne, down in Barrie. Good morning, everyone from Barrie. Liked and shared, as usual. And Belinda, again, thanks for sharing the videos that you're sharing with me. I think I'm going to share Tanner's video. I think he sums up what's been going on with this whole election thing and the attitude of the Liberals with everything. I just thought it was such a great video. I had a few other ones lined up, but I thought that one took the cake. So thanks for sharing that with us. Belinda, good morning. When all is finally exposed, this is your statement of the day. 98% of Washington will fall. That's Julian Assange. I believe we are on the precipice of the changing of the tides. So I didn't know Julian Assange said that. When all is finally exposed, 98% of Washington will fall. Wow. Now that's draining the swamp. Interesting. He's got a lot of intel, right? Having been inside, and that's why they basically imprisoned him without even having a charge. Can you imagine being in prison for 12 years without being charged for anything? That's interesting. How does that happen in the free world, right? So you said, I believe we're on the precipice of the changing of the tides. I hope you're right. Jerome, good morning from Chelmsford. We got people from all over this morning. Good morning, Jerome. Thanks for being with us. And thank you for the Helix video you shared. Looks like they're at a backyard barbecue or something. Pat, good morning to you! Exclamation point. And Maurice, good morning with a smiley emoji. Denise says, they say North Korea would hit the White House first because of a lie or because it's a mistake. And then I'm now watching Russia talking to North Korea, and I'm thinking, oh my God, everything they say is happening. Well, we'll have to see. I do have a particular person that I take what they say very seriously, and he has and I mentioned it on the show maybe once or twice before, he has a news brief, and you go to worldaffairsbrief.com, World Affairs Brief, you're going to brief somebody something, and it's about world affairs. So worldaffairsbrief.com, and it's his name is Joel Skousen, and very insightful. And he's always said that North Korea, just watch North Korea, and whatever happened, that'll be the catalyst. It's the wild card for whatever disruptions we're going to see in terms of war in the world. And don't discount them. And we're kind of seeing them kind of come back into the picture now. So anyways, he's always said, keep your eye on North Korea. Miles, good morning. Thanks for being with us. Morning, Vin. And Belinda also, okay, not everything what seems in the theater, not everything is as what it seems in the theater of war, for sure. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes trying to trick the other side and things like that, and different information given out. And also Denise, another Denise, good morning, everyone. All have a wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy. Like and share. Thank you very much. And then also from Yemen, this is the other Denise, from Yemen to Libya to Syria, Ukraine, Palestine, North America. Everything is played out exactly as they said it would. Okay, and then maybe certain people with intel, like my friend Joel Skousen, he has a pretty good finger on the pulse. Would be fools not to take the warning. They keep us lulled, and when they hit us, we'll be so surprised. And that is true. It will come like a thief in the night. There's no doubt about it. And a lot of people think here, like, we're not susceptible to something like that. They think war can never happen here, right? And what a great enemy to have, that they don't even expect you. They're not even prepared for you. And that's the best enemy that another enemy could hope for, right? Marianne says, not likely. They are terrible at math. Okay, that's probably about another. And that's funny, Bob, by the way, that a lawyer would have a slogan you noticed on a lawyer's window as you walk by that it says, let me get you off. It's interesting for a lawyer to have that particular slogan. But anyways, it's funny. So when I watch the CPAC, the Parliament channel or whatever, CPAC, I don't see what you people see. I see chaos and I see incoming war that they're all trying to hide from the rest of you. Now, it's interesting when you say you watch CPAC, because that is 24/7, just all of what's going on with politicians and bureaucrats behind the scenes, and they're just discussing in real time. But not everyone has time, for one, to watch it. And so you would have an interesting perspective if you are able to actually just kind of tune in there and listen to what they're saying on a daily basis. So I won't discount what you're saying by any means at all, Denise. Miles, a CBC Harper interview in 2015 predicting that what would happen economically with a Liberal government. So is he pretty on? I would think so, right? I would definitely think so. CPAC is all pre-recorded these days. They let us see what they want. TV, television. Okay, so it's not live, unless it would say live per se. But they'll post the videos afterwards. So thanks for sharing, Miles, with us. Appreciate it. You can check out these particular links, and one of them is, at least one of them is a video. So if you want to see anything that anyone listening or watching our show share, all you do is you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Sudbury News, and you can see in the comments of the video. You have to hit all comments though, because Facebook will put it as relevant comments or whatever. You have to go into the top right over the top left over the comments and hit the thing. Then the thing, you hit it where it says relevant comments, and then more options will come, and you hit all comments, because for some reason they don't show all comments naturally. You got to make it happen. Anyways, Danica, good morning with a couple of heart emojis. Much appreciated. And just for the sake of time, we want to be able to move on here. So I'm just going to get a few more comments read, and then a few more people that are joining us. I'm just going to scroll down and see what we got here. And then we're going to move on a bit because we want to do a little bit of a deep dive this morning. Belinda says, I think that could be said for a lot of people. Okay, this was a Nick. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Yes, exactly. So she did vote for Justin Trudeau, as she admitted earlier on the show. Once, at least. She said she didn't vote after that. So also Marianne agreeing with the Nick. Over the years, the top three parties values slowly changed. When you vote for the party, you vote for what the party's values are. And parties need to go. Referendums are true democracy. Interesting. Yes, that would be great if we were able to do that. It's perfectly imperfect. That's 100% right. Our system of things. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. And then also the $5 extra charge at the landfills. Jerome is making a comment about. That's coming in July 1st to Sudbury. If you need to go to the landfill, you're going to have to come with $5, pay $5 before you even get in. And then they're going to charge you for the amount on top of that too, right? The weight. The everyday people like us to be in there and keep them in check. Every taxpayer should have a say on where their money goes. I would love a day like that. Like I said, the city should have at least a transparency to the point of having a website that just has everything on it. It has all the money coming in, where it's coming in from, all the money going out, and where it's going to. And you can just see it, whether you agree with it or not. Then they could have a way for people to at least, you know how Sudbury.com is really good at doing this. They put out a poll on different issues. I really like that segment of their website. And couldn't the city do the same? Have a poll on every page of where the money is going and what people think about it, and a place for comments. And so people can then, while they're looking at this, and good morning, Monique, thanks for being with us. Smiley emoji, thank you. So as people are looking at this, they can vote for it. First of all, yes, I do agree. And they can change their vote later if they want. After reading some of the comments, maybe they're like, you know what? Some of these comments actually influence me, and I really do feel, differently about it now. And you can change your vote. And this would help city councilors. It would help those city employees who are in charge to get more enriched analysis of what we're doing here. But no, we probably won't end up doing that for whatever reason, right? People love to live in the shadows. People can do things in the shadows. You can't do when everything's transparent. And and people benefit from working in the shadows. So Kevin, good morning. All my family, friends, everyone else. I hope everyone gets a chance to taste a good pizza today. Well, there you go. You know what? It was interesting. I try not to eat carbs as much as I possibly can, but I also am the cleanup guy in family. I cannot go in the fridge when there's something going to go bad. Someone's not eating it, and I can't throw it in the garbage. Everyone in the family says, no, I'm not going to eat that thing. And if it's something that has carbs like pizza, there were 2 small slices of pizza in the fridge yesterday, and it was like to the point where either you eat it or it's got to go out. So I said, you know what? I can't stand to see food being thrown out. So I used it for my hamburger. I was just going to have 2 patties of hamburger with cheese on it. No carbs. That was fine for me. But no, I had to use those slices of pizza as a bun. And I thought, you know what? Using pizza as a bun, if you ate carbs, is rather delicious because you can put all the toppings on the pizza you want. And you make it, instead of a bun, you two slices of pizza. Anyways, it was delicious. I enjoyed it. And so I can see why you'd want everyone to enjoy a good slice of pizza today. Thanks, Kevin. So we're just going to mosey on here. I have a video I wanted to share from Tanner discussing the state. We're looking at Chrystia Freeland's response to reporters after the loss in St. Paul's in Toronto of their seat that they held for 30 years that was then taken over by a Conservative, voted. It was a by-election. And basically, you got to stay tuned to the end of this. Because at the end, a CBC reporter of all things asks a real question. That should be a headline. A CBC reporter asked Chrystia Freeland a real question like a real reporter should. And I was very impressed. That's so cool. I wonder if the CBC is going to start being news, like real news with real reporters asking real questions. If that's the case, there's no need to defund them. There's no need to be upset. I'd love a media that we could turn to that had reporters in it that ask questions. And so you'll love it too. It'll be a breath of fresh air. And good morning, Claire. Thanks for being on. Much appreciated. So yes, this was brought to you by Belinda. She sent it to me and I'm grateful. It's Tanner. He's from out west and he has a really great show. And I just don't get the feed anymore. I don't get a lot of the people that I follow, and he's one of them, coming up on my feed. I got to go finding them, and so a lot of times I don't see. So I'm grateful for Belinda, grateful to Belinda for sharing this. So this will be a great insight into Chrystia Freeland. I love his commentary. It's exactly the way I would do it if I had the time. So here you go.
Our leaders hate us. That's the whole video. It's all the video needs to be. Our leaders hate us. They don't want us to flourish. They don't want us to succeed. Instead, they want to see us groveling at their feet for another food stamp or handout so that they can increase their power. Let's hear what dear Chrystia Freeland said.
Deputy Prime Minister, can the Prime Minister still stay on to lead the Liberal Party into the next election, given that you just lost one of the safest seats in the entire country last night?
Yes, he certainly can.
Can you explain why? Because everybody we're hearing from behind the scenes believes that the result last night means catastrophic losses across the country. If you cannot win in Toronto under Justin Trudeau, why should anybody believe you can win anywhere else under him?
Trudeau's empire is crumbling. Remember, lies will never conquer. It's not as though lies will conquer truth or be victorious over truth. They can't be, precisely because they are lies. And this party is a party of liars and lying. So obviously, it has to crumble and fall eventually. And that's happening now. People see what's going on in the nation. People see what's going on in Canada. They know that Chrystia Freeland, Justin Trudeau, and Stephen Guilbeault are absolute and utter radicals who would rather see every Canadian suffer and starve in their homes, or lack of a home because no one can afford homes, in the name of, I don't know, saving the planet or something ridiculous like that, instead of seeing Canadians flourish and thrive under their leadership and rule. People see that. People understand it now. And so they are turning on this wicked and vile government.
Our government is focused on working hard for Canada and Canadians and on delivering results for Canada and Canadians.
Wrong. Actually, it's focused on delivering results for the WEF and the UN. That's who Chrystia Freeland and her cackle are focused on delivering results for. They want to turn this nation into a super state where there are no borders and there are no laws and there is no righteousness and there is no justice. That is what they're working for. They see the contemptible vision of those huge non-governmental organizations, again, like the UN and like the WEF or WHO, whatever it might be, and they strive their hardest. They work their hardest to see that those goals, as contemptible as they are implemented in Canada. Freeland is literally a board member of those organizations. She's on the board. So, like what? Do we think she'd actually serve Canada? Of course not.
That is what the Prime Minister is focused on. That is what we are all focused on. The Prime Minister is committed to leading us into the next election, and he has our support.
Next question.
Well, he doesn't have the support of Canadians, so he certainly doesn't have the support of Canadians. Like, Chrystia Freeland can say he has the support of our other members in the party. She can say that he has, as politicians, he has our support, but it doesn't matter because Canadians don't support him. So,
Hi, Minister Barbara with iPolitics. Still about last night's results in Toronto, St. Paul's. Do you think the Liberals need a radical change in strategy and that perhaps a new leader in the party might be a necessary change?
I just answered that question. Let me say the Prime Minister is focused on delivering for Canada and Canadians. Our whole government is focused on delivering for Canada and Canadians. That's what we're going to continue to do. The result.
oh yeah, they're delivering. They are delivering garbage. That's what they're delivering. That's what this government is delivering. Freeland and Trudeau and the other Liberals are delivering trash. They are delivering suffering. They are delivering poverty. They are delivering despair. They are delivering discouragement and hopelessness. That is the product, or those are the products of the Liberal government. That is what they're delivering, and it's brutal. People are sick and tired of waking up every morning and seeing that they're still unable to get jobs, they're still unable to make a go of it, they're still unable to pay rent, they're still unable to provide for their children. So they want a change in government. Yes, by all means, Chrystia Freeland, keep delivering all of it.
In St. Paul's is certainly disappointing. We knew it was going to be a hard fight. I think it's especially disappointing because so many of us know Leslie. We know how hard she and her team worked. And I do also want to congratulate Don Stewart. He and his team worked hard as well. We know that these are hard times for Canadians. We know that we have to work hard to earn back their trust. And we know that the way to do that is by delivering for them.
Oh, so if you were working so hard to begin with, and if you were doing what was righteous to begin with, why did you lose the trust? Like Freeland here says, we have to work hard to earn back the trust of Canadians. And the question is, why did you lose it in the first place? What did you do that made Canadians lose trust in you? We never had trust in the Liberals, duh. But nevertheless, what made Canadians lose trust in you, dear Freeland? Was it scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal? Was it the embarrassment on the public and international stage? Was it your ridiculous comments about finance? Maybe it was inflation that is still roaring. Maybe it was the increase in taxes. Maybe it's the new capital gains tax. Maybe it's the way you deal or don't deal with criminals. Like, what is it? There are a lot of options to choose from.
By delivering fairness for every generation, by delivering investments in housing and infrastructure, including in rural broadband, the investment we're announcing today, by delivering investments in making life more affordable for Canadians with things like dental care, which is being rolled out this month to kids under 18, by delivering on a national program of early learning and childcare. Already, families in Ontario are saving more than $8,000 per child, but we need to get to $10 a day and be sure there are enough spaces for all the families that want a space. We need to keep on delivering investments in our economy and in economic growth. I was at a car parts plant yesterday, and I could see the brilliant work the people working there are doing, the workers, the innovators. They need our support so that Canada can be on the cutting edge of the 21st century global economy. And we know that we need to deliver all of those investments in a fiscally responsible way so that inflation can continue to stabilize. It's now been within the Bank of Canada's target range for 5 months in a row. That's good news. We have more work to do so that the Bank of Canada can continue its work bringing rates down.
What is she talking about? That was the most ridiculous answer I think I've ever heard, at least economically. What? She's talking about how investment brings down inflation. What is she? What? That doesn't make any sense at all, precisely because inflation simply means an increase in the supply of money. Increase the supply of money and you have inflation. They are the two are the same thing. They're a tautology. So to say we are investing more so that we can bring down inflation is like saying the sky is blue so we can eat pancakes. Huh? There's no correlation there whatsoever. Investing brings down inflation? What, does investing all of a sudden decrease the supply of money in the economy? No. Doesn't do that. So it doesn't decrease inflation. This is typical of the liberals, right? They just spew these sentences, just vomit these sentences forth and act like because they said it, it's logical. Because they said it, it makes sense. Because they said it, it's truthful, and Canadians should accept it. And it's like if we take even a half second to logically think about what the liberals are saying, we will see instantly that it is totally and utterly absurd. It makes absolutely no sense at all. At all. Freeland's on the defensive here, and she is getting hammered by the questions.
And why exactly do you think the Liberals are failing to retain voters in ridings like St. Paul's that, the party held for decades? What is going on?
I think I already answered that question, and I'll just say this is a disappointing result. We take it seriously. We know that things are hard for people in Canada, and we know we have to work even harder delivering for Canadians, winning back the trust of Canadians. That's what we're all committed to do.
Next question.
Bonjour, Madame Freeland. Christian Noël de Radio-Canada.
Yesterday before the by-election, you said the Conservative choice was cold, rural, and small. Then Canadians in a riding that has been dominated by your party for years disagreed with you and made that choice. If you don't have your finger on the pulse with voters in Toronto, St. Paul's, which voters do you have an understanding of?
So again, that was the CBC reporter asking that question. And I think even she's taken back. She said, what news outlet do you work for? Anyways, yeah, that's what she said, that were the type of voters that would vote for another candidate other than theirs.
Wow. Like ruthless question and accurate. Freeland called those who, don't vote Liberal, cruel, cold, and small. That's what Freeland thinks of you. That's what she thinks of all Canadians, right? Again, this is the purpose of this video. It's to show that she hates us. She has no interest in serving Canadians so that Canadians flourish. She serves her masters at the WEF and the UN and these big powers where no one knows who exactly is in power, so that their contemptible vision can be thrust upon Canada.
Yeah, so thanks to Tanner for that, and thanks to Belinda for sharing that with us this morning. Much appreciated. It's really great insight. It's, again, a lot of the things that I or a lot of the people commenting on the show would say, right? If you had some real time to think about it, time to edit a video and whatever, you'd be able to say something similar, I'm sure. It captures the sentiment of a lot of Canadians, and it's like the emperor with no clothes at this point. They don't really see. But good morning, Diane. Thanks for being on. Much appreciated. Thank you, and hope you're having a great morning. We're just going to be wrapping things up here now because we've come to the end of the show. But thanks for being with us. Better late than never is what we say, right? So thanks, everybody. We're going to have more tomorrow. We're going to be focusing, though, with our Friday focus on the climate as we try and make sense of what this government is basically telling us what it means, our climate. They're really talking about weather, but whether or not it has anything to do with climate, which is something you take into account over millions of years, we got to look at the big picture, and that's what we'll do tomorrow. We'll try and make sense of what we're being told about the climate and seeing what's, what you really need to be afraid of or not, what's the real boogeyman out there, and try and understand things, try and make sense of this world we live in. And climate is a hot topic these days, right? Get it? Anyways, so we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Stay tuned for Earshot Daily. Thanks everyone for being on today. We really appreciate you. And have a wonderful day. We'll see you Friday. Ciao.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.